Can I take maybe about a minute before I answer that, Ruben, to congratulate you for the work that you are doing? And I know it's not a youth director's work is not always easy, but I want to extend congratulations to you and to your board for that which you are doing. And I know you could only do that because the grace and the goodness of God is with you and upon you. And say thanks to your wife for allowing you, like Paul said, I will gladly spend and be spent on that occasion. During my tenure as youth director, I think I was the youngest youth director then. I started at the age of 27. So it was not always easy. It was difficult times. And for the young people themselves, it was very difficult. One, jewelry, as we have listened before, was something of the that you just couldn't turn up in church if you were part of the youth department, especially local director. If you were a lady without hat or with a pierced ear or with jewelry, it was totally forbidden. Again, one thing that we found is like courtship or engagement. Again, that was totally forbidden, that we had to cope with. And there were many other things that we have to learn. But in a whole, I think the youth have came through with that. Some had left the body, but others have stick it through and see what the Lord has done for them and the provision that was made for them. And during those days, as I said, it was hard. We politicians have knocked us. The elderly in a hold had knocked us as young people. We couldn't do that which they had. Not that they're very extravagant now, but during those days it was something unheard of that we just couldn't do. But I'm so glad in that area that we have pulled through. We have made it, or they have made it, and they have come through. And today we are rejoicing. So we learned to cope with the changes that were happening. The young people had great ambition in terms of their college, and they fought through that. They have gained through that, and they have obtained degrees. And although they have, they still remain in the local church. And that again they become great. We had great role models in that era. So though the changes were happening, we learned to handle the change with the direction and the will of the Lord. In the Teen Talent, we introduced that. I had then in the De Montfort Hall 300-strong choir, and that was part of the highlight during those days. During my tenure, I was the first one to introduce registration, which is a very big thing now, but then registration then was a stigma, although it was £1 to get in. And we had to do that because my predecessor, we had a problem with the De Montfort Hall, and so we couldn't get back. Mr. Lingham then gave us 12 commandments that we had to live by, so we had to introduce registration on that basis. It was tough, but we did that. We've heard also youth camp, again, was just one of the highlights that taken us on board. And we have teen competition on that level. That works and worked very well for us. I'm very, very happy for the young people today and where they have taken on what they have done and the area of ministry that they have served in. One of the things that I forget to say, that majority of the district overseers now were former youth directors. And obviously that works for us. I normally love to quote Ecclesiastics, and there are wide scriptures on that basis. Remember now your Creator in the days of your youth, and I would leave that with them. And as long as they take that on board, as long as they remember their Creator, as long as they remember our Savior Jesus Christ, then all other things will be added. We live in a troublesome world, and we can't get away from that. A world that is torpedoed with vice and immorality and wickedness. But like the wise man Solomon said, remember. And if at all we can call to remembrance upon those things, then we will live by it. Again, Paul instructed Timothy and says, study to show yourself approved unto God, a workman. And as long as you are biblical-minded, temptation will come, and it happens from creation, will continue to happen. But we stand grounded on the words of God. And I think young people today are very well grounded. Their matured level is very, very high. The whole conception of Christ is very high. Their whole education outlooks are very high. The church has been a strong tower for many of us, and it will continue to be. And that's where we get our learning from, not only from the education institution, but within the local church itself. And young people are our asset. And if we lose young people today, then the church will disintegrate. But it cannot, because it is Christ's church. And I have great faith, great confidence, great trust, and great ability in our young people that however, they have to hold on to Christ as our Savior and as our Redeemer.